Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Mindful Moments with the Sharper Moise Foundation. And again, I'm here with Dr. Tequilla Hill Allen, and I am Dr. Linda Moise, founder and CEO of Sharper Moise Foundation. Everyone's counting down to the holidays, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, and spending time with family. And for some people, it's a wonderful thing. They're looking forward to it, especially the last couple of years that we've had. And then for other people, it kind of creates some stress and anxiety having to deal with those family members you probably only see once a year. So we just kind of want to go through and kind of discuss some of those things with everyone, and definitely talk about how, we can kind of sometimes create new traditions, and keep some of the old family traditions that you've had growing up and things like that. So, yeah, Dr. Allen, so talk to us a little bit about those things.
Yeah, so I think that it's very important for everyone to just accept that the holidays have been a little different because of COVID. And we understand that. And I think if we can embrace the difference and we can intertwine the old stuff with the new stuff, we can create something new. I know those of us are trying to probably figure out like how to have a safe and fun holiday season. So I tell everyone, just please be flexible. You be flexible with how you do things, not the why, but just be flexible in the how, in that the holidays do not have to look like 2019 holidays or even 2020. Let it be whatever it is this year. And most importantly, have fun, enjoy it. Everything doesn't have to be a production. Keep it simple. And most importantly, spend it with people that are meaningful for you. Okay. I think that's like number one. Number two, when I think about balancing a lot of our educators and our parents, you're wrapping up old stuff and also planning for the new stuff. I think it's also very important to just pace yourself. Self care is something that Dr. Moise and I and a lot of our participants have been talking about. This is not the time to let go of your self care. This is the time to pace yourself and ask yourself, how do you want things to look? And boundaries. Please, y'all, like if you don't operate in boundaries, this might be the time to start to create some. Please create boundaries around your time, create boundaries around your resources. The holiday time is not the time to go broke, keeping up with the Joneses. Dr. Moise, would you like to add to that? Not going broke and making sure that we're
No, that is very, very true. I think that, sometimes we try to do all of these things in November, December, buying this gift, that gift. And then come January, when the credit card bill is due, you're like, oh my God, what did I just do? Right. So that's just something, a rule of thumb to go by all of the time. Do what you can, what's within your means of affordability, especially for our children, right? Because we know that, they want the latest and greatest and this and that. But I think that a lot of the things that as kids you would probably remember are those times. I mean, as you get an adult, you remember the times that you spent with your
Mhm,
family, and not because I can't remember the stuff that I used to get as a kid.
mhm.
And we always had gifts under the tree, et cetera, et cetera. I do remember that we always used to get new bikes every year. Every year we got new bikes. But I don't remember that. But what I do remember is the feeling of opening up the gifts, um, and the feeling of having dinner with family and spending time with family, and family, come in from out of town, et cetera, stop by. And I remember after every meal during Thanksgiving is when we put up all of our Christmas decorations. So we'd have Thanksgiving dinner, and then my dad would take out all of the decorations and he'd go outside, and, we'd be watching football or whatever it is, the family. Those are the things that I remember. I couldn't quite frankly remember what I got, what I got, right? But those different holiday traditions or family traditions, as you get older, all the things that you're going to remember. And I think you said something too, that I wanted to point out, Dr. Allen, was that about spending time with, family and people that cherish you and creating those boundaries. And sometimes we feel this pressure to have to be home for the holidays and have to, and if it creates, I think if you can correct me if I'm wrong, if it creates more stress for you, then if it's an unhealthy, a toxic situation, those are where you may want to say, okay, is it going to be worth my mental space to go and deal with these people for a couple of hours? They send you into a tailspin, and then now you have to get yourself out of it. Is this one of those times where I just need to create that boundary and say, nope, I'm going to go ahead and be around people who value me, or where I'm not putting myself into a toxic situation just for the sake of being home with the family for the holidays, right? I
Absolutely.
always say family is who you create. You can create your own family at any time. Blood doesn't always make people family. So I think that's one of the things that is important for everyone to keep in mind, as to, like you said, creating those boundaries and making sure that you are taking care of you, children, etc., and making sure whatever environment that you're going into for the holidays is a festive one, is where you're giving thanks, you're being thankful, and you're creating those wonderful memories that's going to go on with you, and not knowing that you're going to walk into a hostile situation and then you're going into that hostile situation just for the sake of, yes, I was here, etc., etc.
Absolutely. I agree with everything that you said, Dr. Moise, and like the power of no, and that y'all, it's okay to say no. Like you will disappoint people, but listen, um, putting on unnecessarily burden on yourself is not healthy. And I think that we find ourselves doing a lot of that over the holidays, adding burden or saying yes when you should say no. And Dr. Moise and I are telling you, say no, take care of yourself, put up those boundaries. The whole point of the holidays is, like Dr. Moise said, is to give thanks, to have meaningful, edifying experiences with people that you love. It may not be your blood family, it may be the family that you create. So please, like, give yourself permission to go into the season and enjoy it. Or you might want to enjoy a book in quietness over the holiday season. If that's what you need, give yourself what you need. All of us have been through a very interesting last 2 years. So if you need rest and that's all you really want to do at the end of the year, that's okay too. Please don't invite pressure into your life. Life is hard enough as it is. Yeah. And
Yeah, and definitely as educators, and you talking about giving yourself permission. I think sometimes a lot of educators are made to feel guilty at this time of year because we're looking forward, that countdown to, like, okay, Thanksgiving vacation, if your district gives you a week or you get the 2 days, and then you're like, all right, 3 weeks till we get 2 weeks off for Christmas. And so I can kind of recharge and reset. It's okay to be counting down to the holidays and say, okay, I need to recharge, I need to reset in order for me to kind of continue on come January with the rest of the school year that I know that I have to deal with. Give yourself that permission to unwind, to unplug. And when I say unplug, I mean unplug, not
for real.
creating the lesson plans. I know you have to do that at some point in time, but at least taking a few days during your break for you, for your family, to kind of unplug, recharge, and then kind of figure out, okay, how am I going to move forward in the new year, making it through the rest of this school year? So yes, I think as educators, definitely give yourself permission to unplug, uncharge, unwind, and don't feel guilty about not answering those school emails during the holiday break, because that's the time for you to kind of recharge and be there and be present for your students when you come back from the holiday break.
Yeah, and as Dr. Moise is talking about recharging and taking that time, I think this is a great time in the next couple of weeks at some point to download the year. You don't have to wait to December 31st to download your year. I think that it's very important for all of us to take a moment to ask ourselves, how did we show up this year? What am I most proud of? What are my biggest lessons? Like before you make any goals for 2022, you need to sit down and really ask yourself these questions so that you can move to the next year with the wisdom and the lessons and the nourishment that you had this year. Does that make sense? Is there anything you want to add to that, Dr. Moise?
Yeah, and I think adding to that, I would say taking a look at, where did I go wrong this year, right? Did I meet the goals that I set for myself for 2021? If I didn't meet those goals, did I make progress towards those goals? I
Yeah.
know sometimes people tend to make New Year's resolutions, and then the second year in second week into January, it's all gone to hell, right?
Hmm.
So I think if we create SMART goals, setting those intentional and purposeful goals, you're able to see, okay, did I make progress towards this goal that I have? And I think sometimes we need to give ourselves a little grace in knowing that, hey, I made progress towards this goal that I said that I had. I
That's
might not have gotten to it, but I know that I've made progress towards that goal. So you can feel better. Okay, I've made progress towards this goal. Now, what other steps and actions that I need to take in order for me to reach the same goal that I said that I was going to do in 2021? But again, you have to give yourself some grace because, like I said, it's been a tough 2 years for a lot of people. A lot of people are dealing with loss. And then dealing with that loss, you have to think about the holidays kind of bring up that loss that people are feeling, right? Because people that were in your lives maybe 2 years ago, a year ago, a month ago, a week ago aren't here anymore, right? So how am I dealing with those issues? Because I know that a lot of people kind of go through that seasonal depression because everyone is happy and all of the stuff you see on social media, the matching pajamas, this, that, and the third. And people are looking at their life and like, well, this person was here, they're no longer here. Or I wish I had this in my life. I wish I had that in my life. And then you go down this dark hole that you can't seem to get yourself out of. So I think taking inventory and looking at the progress that you've made, whether it be career wise, personal wise, in your schooling, anything that you can take a look at and see the progress that you made and give yourself a little grace for making those steps towards those end goals that you have created.
Yeah, and I love how Dr. Moise brought up SMART goals. One of the reasons why, everyone's all fired up in January, everyone's at the gym and doing this and eating right, going to therapy, everyone's just like, aggressive in January. And I love to see that. However, it's not sustainable, right? It's very, very important for all of us to pace ourselves and have SMART goals. For those of us who forgot what SMART goals are specific, they are measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And I say all this to say you have to approach this with grace and compassion, okay, not judgment. All of us are juggling a lot of things. That's why it's very important, as Dr. Moise was kind of talking about the life quadrants. Think about, if you're doing your vision board or you're just doing your SMART goals or manifestation board, I would say break it down into life quadrants, like, spiritually, like emotionally, mentally, ecosystem, relationships, intimate and non-intimate, career, hobby. Break it down and ask yourself, how can I pour into all of those life quadrants? This is your life. It can look the way you want it to look. But if you don't give yourself permission to create it in a way that works for the natural rhythm of your life, it will be all talk and it will be no action, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I like the way that you said that this is something that you're able to create. I always tell people if there's a part of your life or somewhere in your life that you're unhappy with, change it. Take the steps that you need to take in order to change it. Not saying you're unhappy at your job, go quit it tomorrow. That's not what we're saying. But if you're unhappy, hey, what do I actually really want to do? Why am I unhappy? Why am I not fulfilled with this? And this is also creating those SMART goals are something as well that you can do with kids, right? So I had a group of kids that I was working with this past year, and I had them create SMART goals in different areas of their life. They were high schoolers, and I said, okay, we need to kind of create these SMART goals so that you guys can kind of figure out, all right, what do I want to achieve for the rest of the school year, right? In all the areas of your life, whether it's your sports that you're doing, stuff that you're doing with your friends, stuff that you're doing with your family, whether you're career planning, your students and kids are able to do this as well because they have goals. They have things that they want to do. They have things that they want to achieve. So creating a vision board, that those SMART goals with them is another way to kind of build that that skill within them, those life skills that they're going to need in order for them to be able to be successful as an adult as well. So not just us as adults creating our vision boards and our smart boards and our manifestation boards and things like that that we all tend to do during the new year, but it's something that you can bring in as a family thing and do with the kids, do with your family members. Okay, this is where we've gone, where do we want to go, etc., and creating that vision and taking the steps that you need to take in order to create the life that you want to live.
Yeah, and this ties really well into creating new holiday traditions. This can be something that can be a new holiday tradition with the family, and that, oh, we do our manifestation vision board that are kind of like inspired by SMART goals. I think that that would be great, and we can all hold each other accountable in the meantime while it's being done. So I absolutely love that idea, Linda.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing to make sure that you have that accountability partner as well, right? So I've created these goals, but you know yourself better than anyone most of the time, right? So you know you need that accountability partner and say, hey, I need you, you know, these are some of the goals that I've created. Talk about the goals with people, seek out mentors and things like that, and people that's going to kind of help you achieve where you want to go, you know, and say, hey, to that person or that close friend and say, hey, these are some of the goals that I have for this year. And that person, you know, find someone that's going to hold you accountable respectfully and kind of say, hey, well, what happened to you wanting to open up that business? Or what happened to you
Mm.
wanting to, get into sports this year, right? So kind of keep that in the forefront and that person kind of helping you along the way and making sure you don't get derailed by your everyday thing and things that are going into life, you know, that are going on in your life and not being able to accomplish those goals that you set for yourself.
Yeah, I love that. Accountability partners are very important because, you know, Dr. Morris, we can't share our SMART goals and our manifestations with just anyone. It has to be people who are going to hold the vision with us and for us. So thank you for noting which type of people we need to make accountability people.
Yeah, and definitely somebody that's objective, right? Not the person that's going to gas you up and tell you what everything that you're doing is
Or
right,
super negative and
and not the negative Nancy, right? Not the negative Nancy that's telling you everything that you're doing is crazy. So
the
you
middle.
definitely want to find that person that's in the middle who's objective and can say, oh, yeah, you know, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? How do you plan on achieving that person that's going to challenge you to become better, to become a better version of yourself? And like I said, you don't want a yes person, nor do you need the negative Nancy in your life that's telling you everything that you want to achieve is not attainable, because that's not true as well. So you want to make sure that accountability partner and those people that you share your vision with are people that is going to, one, hold you accountable, and two, kind of challenge you and say, okay, you want to do this, how do you plan on getting there, and what are the steps that you need to take, and what do you need from me, how can I help you get to that goal that you're trying to achieve? So those are the kind of people that I say that, you know, a lot of us need to surround ourselves with. And sometimes you might not have that person in your life, and you have to dig deep within to say, okay, these are the goals that I have for myself. How am I going to achieve it? You've got to be your own cheerleader sometimes, because you're not going to always find those people that's going to encourage you to reach that vision or reach that goal, because they can't see your goal or your vision for your life.
Mhm. Yeah, I totally agree. But I think that both Dr. Moise and I just want everyone to be gentle with all of yourselves this season. Be purposeful and intentional about how you show up, whether it be family functioning, work functionings. Um, just try to give yourself what you need as far as what the holidays mean for you. And please, 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 please take care of yourselves, please.
Yeah. And I would definitely say make sure that you take stock and you take inventory of where you are. And then, you know, because like I said, a lot of people haven't made it to this point, right? They thought they were going to see the holidays, they thought they were going to see the end of the year. And a lot of people haven't made it. So we all can just be thankful that we're still here, that we're still breathing, that we still are able to, that we may have our health, that we have our family. So just kind of looking at the things that we're thankful for and
Mm.
coming looking at things from a place of gratitude, and then seeing, okay, this is where I need to make some changes, or this is where I want to kind of create a better life for myself. But I think first and foremost, coming from a place of gratitude and definitely being thankful for the things that we have, the people that we have in our lives, and where we are, and how far you've made it from wherever you were at the beginning of 2021.
Right on.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Like I said, we just wanted to kind of drop in, have a little break in our regular programming, because we wanted to definitely talk about this with everyone and make sure that during this time, you do be grateful for where you are, grateful for what you have, your family, give your kids a hug, give your family hugs and kisses and things like that, and make sure that you prepare yourself to be the best version of yourself that you can be. And so that you can show up in 2021, recharged, rested, and ready to conquer the world. So thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. See you guys in 2022.